Hi, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today I want to share with you my most expensive knife ever. As you may already know, this channel is basically a channel of where I review knives of a budget nature. Low cost, high value is the main thing that I do. And so in that context, the most expensive knife ever cost me $128. And yes, this is a limited run of the Real Steel S571 Pro with Elmax steel, and I was fortunate enough to get number 31 of 600. Yeah, this is my most expensive knife. Most places you'll be able to find this right now at $180. If you go to Real Steel's website, you'll see that the MSRP is $250 US. So do not buy from the realsteelknives.com website. You can find it elsewhere for a whole lot less. But coming down to the tabletop, and let's take a look at this knife in more detail. All right, what we have here is a frame lock knife, titanium scales, Elmax steel, full flat grind. You can see those beautiful grind lines on there. You know, it's just beautiful. A drop point, great big belly. It's curve all the way. And then you've got a nice sharpener's choil there, a nice point on there, just a bit over 1/8 of an inch thick for the spine. It's 3.5 millimeters, and I think 1/8 of an inch is 3.1 or something. I could be wrong, but Real Steel says that this is 3.5 millimeters, and when I use my calipers, yeah, it's right on. That's 0.14 inches. The blade length is 95 millimeters, which is 3 3/4 inches. The whole length of it when it's open is 8.5 inches, 216 millimeters. And it weighs just a bit over 5 ounces, 5.1 ounces or so, which is 145 grams. Yes, it's got bearings, which is why that happens. You just barely pull and it opens up. Like, I mean, just a tiny, and this is uphill. The blade's going higher than the handle is. So I'm not going downhill, letting it swing down that way. Uphill, just a slight little push on it. The detent lets go and it goes on up. The detent on this knife is perfect. It even passes CBSA's stupid laws about how strong a detent has to be before a knife is legal to be imported into Canada. And yes, they want a detent that is very strong, that holds a knife blade in and doesn't let it out from shaking it. I've got another video, a whole different rant on that. That's all I'm going to say on that right now. The spine of this blade has got some really fine jimping, as you can see right there. And I don't think the jimping's really needed. The knife fits in the hand so well, and you get really good purchase without it. But it's not an aggressive, annoying jimping. So it's there, and that's totally fine. All of the hardware is nice flush hardware, all Torx, nice and flat. The frame lock feels really, really nice. They've done a tiny little cutout on the edge of the frame lock right here. That makes the a little more comfortable to push open with your thumb and close the blade. It's very, very smooth. Coming from a guy who has mostly budget knives, I don't have $5,000, $4,000, $6,000 knives, $700 knives. I don't have $200 knives. So for a guy like me, this knife, it just closes like butter. Just give it a shake and it's closed. You can open it with huge force, but you just don't need to. That was really, really light. But yeah, it's just a nice light little push and it opens the blade. And of course I can do it harder and you can just hear it click that much harder. It's got a titanium milled out clip. I find the clip to be a little too tight for my liking. It grabs the pocket a little too much for me, but it looks really nice. It's a nice minimalist kind of look. It's just, a long kind of stick there and milled out. It's just, it's an elegant looking clip. Functionality is just a little bit off for that clip. And of course, the pillars are 3D pillar construction. It's not just a pillar that is just a bar across. It's got a nice hourglass kind of shape onto it. Elmax steel costs a little bit. It's supposed to be really good steel. I've not touched the this edge yet, and I've had this knife for, when did I buy it? I bought it in March. Nice slow push cut. Just no problem at all. And it's just a nice, elegant, simple construction here. The titanium scales have just, a little bit of a corner knocked off here, and then they knock off the corner here, and they leave a rounded corner, at the top here. So both of these leading edges have that, corner cut off that way. And same thing on the trailing edge on the bottom. And then the rest of it is more at a 90, except for on the, the front end has another swedge built onto it there. When it's closed, it looks elegant. Even the back side, the side with the lock looks really nice. It's got a steel insert. You can see the screw for it right there. Let's get more light this way. It's got a steel insert for the frame lock, and it locks up solid every time. It's locking up right around about 50% on mine, and it's just, rock solid. No play whatsoever. I've not adjusted. I've not even had a tool touch these pivots. So hopefully I can leave it that way forever. It locks in place, rock solid, very nice, but they give you a secondary lock. This is, in my estimation, a bit of a gimmick for this knife. I don't think it's necessary. I think people who buy nice knives like this, of course, the context I'm talking to is my own context, where this is a very expensive knife for me. I'm not going to be hard using this knife. That's just not what it's going to be for. But you can move that lock over and lock it so that you can't take the frame lock off. So the frame lock is holding the blade in place, and it's got a really solid kind of click when you lock it, and when you open it up again, you can hear that. I just always leave it in the unlocked position because that's how I will be using the knife. So it's got that travel over stop, so you can't move your frame lock too far over and break it right there. It's just a very, very beautiful, very comfortable knife, and I really like it an awful lot. It's got that sweet little drop point on the end here. I really like the satin brush marks that you see on the steel. This angle is maybe a bit better for the light. You can see the light traveling across that satin brushing. Full flat grind is my favorite grind. I really like that a lot. And the knife just looks nice every which way that you look at it. My only real big beef is the finish on the titanium can get marred up so easily. I am genuinely disappointed. I've not carried this in my pocket out of my house ever. I've only had it sitting on my, where I display my knives sometimes, or I've had it put away, and it's already got these snail trails all over it, and these other marks from some kind of wear. I don't know when those happened. You can really see them at that shot right there, this whole area here. I am genuinely deeply disappointed. I've got knives that cost 20 bucks that are not marred at all, and I've carried them in my pocket all over the place. Yes, they want to make a nice delicate finish. I get that. I mean, a delicate looking finish. They just really need to find a way to make the finish robust enough for even light use, because this hasn't even seen light use. I won't be selling this knife. It's mine forever. I really, really like it. I just don't know what I'm going to do about that finish. So if any of you have some really good ideas of what a guy in my boat could do to this finish, remember, this is the most expensive knife I own. I'm not going to experiment on it. If you know of a video or something else that shows something to be done to these scales to make them look nice, please let me know. I'd really appreciate that. If you like this video, if you like the review, please click on like down at the bottom right-hand corner of the video. If you want to share it with somebody, down on the lower left-hand corner is the share. And all the way across the bottom here is the nice subscribe button. I really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. That's my main goal, is to get a whole bunch of subscribers, because I so love to share my knife hobby with with people around the world. As you can tell, there are no advertisements on this channel. I'm not trying to build this channel to make any money. That's not my goal at all. That's not why I want subscribers. I want subscribers just because, I like sharing my hobby with you guys. So here is the Real Steel S571 Pro with Elmax steel, number 031 of 599, and for $128 plus some shipping. I got this knife at a steal of a deal when it was just being introduced. At least it was just being introduced at that vendor. And, now you can usually get them for $180. If you know how much they are on the secondary market, please let me know in the description below. In the comments below. I'd appreciate that. And whenever you're playing with your knife or using it as a tool, remember, cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Bye now.